The thing about men is that we have a wound. When we sinned in the garden and we moved on, we have the enemy speaking to us now. And the enemy wants to take men out. Without a battle, men drift, they feel aimless, and they become destructive. We need a battle to fight. We need to be in battle. We're warriors. There's a battle spiritually happening all around us all the time that we need to be praying for, getting on our knees and fighting in that respect. There's a battle for our own minds. Men need to go out into the woods. They need to climb a mountain. They need to race a car. They got to have those expressions and find healthy expressions for those, or they'll find unhealthy expressions for them. And as a man, you're leading your family. You need to be the leader of adventure. You need to lead your family into adventure. You need to lead your wife. You need to lead your kids. You need to lead your friends into adventure. You need to be the intention. So when we're looking for a woman, when a man's dating and out looking, he's chasing her down, he's pursuing her, it's because he wants. Welcome to the Built to Lead podcast. Got some good stuff for you this week. I'm actually pretty excited. I've been ruminating on this topic for a good chunk of time. We almost recorded a few weeks ago, but I just didn't feel like I was ready yet. And now I'm ready, which is good because it'll be better. So today, this podcast is going to be referred to as the Be a Man. Yeah,
I like it.
It's be a man, right, Tyler?
Wow. Yeah.
I'm saying this to you. Be a man.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of work.
What does that mean is the thing that comes to mind,
yeah,
right?
I don't have no clue. What do
you hear people say it all the time. We feel like the dad of the 90s, 2000s said that to the kids when they were being weak, right? I think the millennials heard it a lot. Be a man. Do the right thing, right? But I think that there's a lot of contextual issue with what that means and how it's used and what it's thought of. And I think societally here in the West and globally, frankly, what it means to be a man has been misconstrued and misunderstood for a fair amount of time now. And I think it's worth talking about.
Yeah, I think the statement has a lot of baggage.
Oh yeah, does it ever have baggage now, right? But I think it's worth unpacking.
Yeah,
what it means. And I'll start out by saying what I think it means. And I think to be a man is to come through for the people that we serve. When I say be a man, I mean, I want you to come through. I want you to step up. I want you to have grit, courage, integrity, empathy. You need to be what you need to be, but not for yourself, for the people whom you serve. What it means to be a man is to use your strength in the service of other people, right? You're going to come through for them.
Yeah. Now I'm noticing there's a couple books there.
Yes, and this is so I'm kind of basing I won't call it research, but the thought process of what I'm going through with this thing on these three books. Three of my absolute favorite books of all time. So I'm going to pump them here. If you haven't read them, you absolutely should read them. You should read them every year. You should read them multiple times until you are intimate with these books. So those are one, John Eldredge, Wild at Heart. Also John Eldredge, Fathered by God. And then a more recent read of mine actually in the last year is Endurance, which is actually based on a true story of Ernest Shackleton and the ship Endurance and their intended trip to the Arctic.
Oh, that sounds
Antarctica.
Amazing. So it's kind of like I was going to say documentary. It's a book documentary.
It's like a biography story based on true story. The guy who wrote it went and found all the alive people who were on that thing and interviewed them extensively, got all the journals, did all the research. It breaks it down in the book, but it's a very, very well written, thoroughly gone through and authentic feeling experience reading the book about their journey and what they did. So I'm going to get into that later through some of the topics here and why I want to point back to that. But absolutely. And if this book was a gift, shout out to Sean who gave it to me. It was a gift in more than one way. It was a gift when I got it and it was a gift when I read it. So
that's probably why I gave it to you.
Spectacular book. It's so good. I rave about it frequently, actually. So anyway, be a man. What does that mean? The thing about men and the Wild at Heart book and where it kind of starts out in that book, and it's something I think that's really important, is that we have a wound, right? When we sinned in the garden and we moved on, we have the enemy speaking to us now, right? And the enemy wants to take men out. We stand in the gap between the enemy and us and sin and overcoming and taking over the world. We are supposed to fight against that. And so the men are the people that are the protectors and the providers and the people who stand in the gap. And so they don't want us to do that. The enemy doesn't want us to stand in the gap.
He wants us to be very ineffective.
He wants us to be ineffective, and he wants to wound us, right? And so the wound we have, the question that we're asking as men, deep, like super deeply, is, do I have what it takes? Because the thing is, what is it to be a man? Is to come through. Well, how do I come through? Well, I need to have what it takes to come through. So do I have what it takes? We're asking this question all the time. We're not saying it out loud, but in everything we do, we're going, hey, do I have what it takes? Can I do this? Am I capable of it? Can I stand up? Can I be strong? Can I do the things that I need to do to be a man? And the enemy's answer is, you don't have what it takes.
Every time I open the hood of my car to fix something, that's the question that
goes, do I have what it takes to
have
fix
what it
this?
takes?
Well, it's true. It's just one example. Do I have what it takes to hit this home run? Do I have what it takes to fix this car? Do I have what it takes to raise my kids? Do I have what it takes to stand up and support my wife and be there as a husband, as a father, as a friend, as a leader? Do I have what it takes? Leaders all the time. Do I have what it takes? We look in the mirror every morning before we go to work or to our team, and we go, do I have what it takes to lead this team today? I don't know how many times I've stared myself down in the mirror and asked that question and struggled with that answer.
Splash some water in your face.
And the enemy is whispering in the ear. He's going, you don't have what it takes. You aren't going to be able to come through. You should sit this one out. Don't take the risk. It's not worth it. Become passive. Sit back. Go play video games in your basement. Right? This is what we're like, the voice. I don't know if you can be a man and not know the voice I'm talking about. Right?
Leave it till tomorrow.
Yeah. You don't need to do that right now. You don't need to work out. It's not a big deal. You don't need to be strong. What for? You live in a world that doesn't require that. Like everything's easy. It's convenient. Just sit down, have a chocolate bar, grab a burger. You deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve that latte.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Or whatever it be. But and again, I'll apologize in advance to any women who listen to this. This is very masculine focused. I think there's huge value in you understanding your men or men in general through listening to this podcast, but I'm speaking to men here directly. And if you're a man, you know the voice I'm talking about. You've heard it. The question is, do you think it's your voice? Or do you think it's not your voice? Because it isn't. It's the enemy. He's coming at you. And the thing about this is that God's voice doesn't say that to you. He wouldn't say that to you. What God's voice says is, I made you for this. You're made in my image. It says it in the Bible. You're made in my image. I made you for this. You're a warrior. You can come through. Tackle it. Go. Fight. Take it on. Be courageous. Right? That's the voice of God and what he's saying to men. But that's not what the enemy wants us to hear. He wants to drown that out. And you see it in society everywhere. Hey, sit back. Toxic masculinity, right? The term that we're using now to describe masculinity. Masculinity is to be a man. Why is it toxic? What's toxic about it?
Exactly, yeah.
So we're going to break that down even more. Anyways, that's the wound. The thing that we're dealing with is, do I have what it takes? Can I come through? And we need to get that question answered. And the only person that can answer that question for you is God. You need to take the question to him, right? When we take that question other places, we get bad answers, right? Or we try to answer that question in other areas that aren't the appropriate place for it, right? And I'm going to get into that in the next phase here, is what happens when we take the question to places where we shouldn't take it and get answers that send us down a weird rabbit hole or a tributary or an unhealthy place, right? So through the book, again, going back to Wild at Heart, the premise is that we have 3 needs, 3 desires, 3 things. Every man has 3 things that he needs, that his heart is kind of going after, right? And so and it makes sense. Like for me, it speaks directly to my heart when I've read this book, and I've read this book every year for the last decade at least. It speaks to me. I get goosebumps when I read it. It's like this book knows me, and it knows men because it's written for men, and it's written to speak to men's hearts. So the first thing is that we need a battle to fight, right? We need to be in battle. We're warriors, right? We're built for adversity. We're built to provide and protect and to attack and to grind through and overcome, and we need a battle, right? And when we don't have a battle, we get stagnant. Like we are, because we're looking for a battle, we'll find a battle somewhere. But if we don't get the healthy version, whereas we step up in battle against evil and what's wrong in the world, when we don't have a mission that directs us towards battling with that is not good, with purpose behind it, then we find another battle to fight, right? We'll go fight with other men.
Yeah.
We'll find a battle in crime, right? We'll find a battle in sports where it doesn't belong, right? Yeah, it's a battle and it's a game, but you know the guy who's playing the rec league in the evening, loses his mind and cross-checks a guy in the head, knocks his teeth out, and then they have a full-blown blow-up on the ice, right? That guy didn't have a battle to fight.
Right.
He's finding one right here, right now.
Or the dad at the hockey rink.
Or the dad who's screaming over the boards at the ref because his son didn't get the right call. Or like, men they'll find a battle one way or another, right? They're going to fight something somewhere, somehow. And so we need to find the right battle. We need to find the right mission. We need to dig in and have the right thing. Right?
Yeah, it needs a focus and a direction to that type of energy.
Yeah. Well, and what's the right battle?
Yeah.
Right. So I find, like, in entrepreneurship, there's a battle here. And that's why I get my expression, my battles. I come to work and I can fight my battle every day. Right. There is constant problems to fight here. There's drama, there's issues, there's people problems, there's financial struggles, there's sales issues, there's marketing, there's all these things. So I'm in a battle all day long. I'll wear myself out there, right? And then when I go home, there's maybe a battle to fight. There's a battle for my kids' hearts. There's a battle for my wife. There's a battle against the evil that's trying to come against my family. There's a battle spiritually happening all around us all the time that we need to be praying for, getting on our knees and fighting in that respect, right? There's a battle for our own minds, right? A battle against the propaganda, the world's opinions, the constant barrage that's coming at us of inappropriate information and sin that's trying to drag us out, right? So we need to choose to face that battle and not the wrong battles, right? So what happens to men when they don't have a battle? Without a battle, men drift, they feel aimless, and they become destructive, right? You've seen the guy that doesn't have a purpose, that doesn't have an aim, doesn't know what he's doing. It's like he's depressed. He's spiraling. He doesn't know which direction to go. He becomes indecisive, aimless, it says here. And you're drifting. Like they're not building anything, right? They're not moving ahead. They're not climbing a mountain.
They've abdicated life.
And then what happens is they become destructive, right? So we go to alcohol, we go to drugs, we go to bad expressions in marriage, we go to inappropriate treatment of people, of friends, of environments, right? Men without a proper battle to fight take the battle to the places that it doesn't belong. They express their warrior somewhere else, right? And it doesn't work. So interesting, some statistics I thought was helpful for understanding what an inappropriate expression is and how bad the actual situation is in our world with masculinity. 80% of violent crimes are perpetrated by men.
Wow.
Okay. And of murder or violent crimes, 75, and this is a US statistic, 75% of victims are also male. So what it points to me, what I get out of that, men are fighting other men.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right? They're attacking each other. They're finding ways to fight, to war against one another, right? Whether it be gang violence, whether it be just guys having bar fights because they got, like, you go to the bar and they get in a fight. Well, why? What for? What benefit is that to the world or to anyone? How is that giving your strength or serving you or your community at all? It doesn't. But they're going to find a fight somewhere, right? So violent crimes. Globally, that statistic goes up. 90% of violent crimes committed by men globally. 81% of victims are male in that case. So we're talking genocide, war crimes, all these types of things, right? And so this is the state of our world, and where men don't have a battle to fight.
Yeah, and that reminds me of, the scripture. Our battle isn't against flesh and blood, right? These guys have found a battle. Yeah,
and against flesh and blood.
Against flesh and blood.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so the other part about this, I think, is interesting when I think about the military, especially in the United States, their verbiage, how they market themselves. They know. The military knows that men need a battle to fight, right? And they'll give them one. And I would say in a mostly healthy fashion for the most part. Obviously, there's negativity with that. But at the end of the day, we got taglines like "Be all you can be." What's your warrior? It's not a job, it's an adventure. They know men. They know what they're looking for, and they're drawing them out. They know their market, right? And they know the men need a battle to fight. And so then that's what they're putting on it. So I think for myself, like I'm going, okay, well, what does this mean to me? It means that like, and I think that my most experiential version of this is just when I don't feel engaged at work, if I don't have a project or a thing or whatever to put my energy in, if I don't have something to attack, if I'm not working out in the morning and getting after it and using up my energy, if I don't have a gardening project to attack and battle against and figure out, if I don't have something to think through, I get aimless, I get antsy, I get weird, and then I end up going to destructive things, right? You start getting a little more snacky. Maybe have a couple beers tonight, or maybe I'll watch some TV, maybe not the most appropriate TV. Like we start spiraling into an unhealthy place when we don't have a battle. But when I'm busy and I'm getting after it and I have something to tackle and it's a mission and it means something and I'm moving ahead, I am just like, I'm tuned in. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm happy when I got the battle going, right?
Yeah.
I'm just jacked about it.
Yeah. You're ordered at that point. You're not in a disordered state.
Yeah. I'm not like aimless. I'm not adrift. And again, speaking to men, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to describe it much more than that. You've all been there in certain moments. You might be there right now, but you also had your moments when you felt like you had a handle on it and you were chasing after. You were challenged, right? You had the thing that was in front of you, something to bite into, to tackle, to get after, to go and chase a mission, a vision for your life, right? That's what men need. They need it.
Yeah.
So moving on, number 2. An adventure to live. So this is where I'm going to kind of break into the endurance thing, is that there's a battle and an adventure involved in that story that I love so much. But for an adventure to live, I go, okay, we were looking for risk. We want to explore. We need a thrill. Okay. I don't necessarily think all women have the same expression of that. There's lots of women that love to explore and do that, but not a ton of women like to risk like men like to risk. Right. This is why people fall into gambling, why they get into drugs, why they do like adrenaline junkies type stuff, because they like risk. And I totally connect with this. I love an adventure. I love risk. I love speed. I'm a speed guy, right? Like I'm not happy until my floorboards are dragging on the ground and my pipes are screeching on the corner because I pushed this bike to the very flippin' limit of what it can do, right? Yeah. I always joke with my dad when we drive dirt bikes or side by sides. I said the problem with this sport is that about 5% past the point where things start breaking is where I start having fun. Right. So, you're friggin' flying down the trail and you rip the A arm off the side of the thing, or you hit a tree, or you roll it over doing whatever. I'm having an absolute hoot at the most risky point, when I'm going way too fast for the trail, when I'm pushing the machine to its limit, when I'm going, oh crap, that last bump bottomed it out. Like I'm there. I'm in the adventure. I'm in the risk. And that's the thrill, the risk, the exploration. How far can I go? And this is a question we ask ourselves is, how far, like I ask, how far can this machine go? But the question is, how far can I go? Yeah. What can I do? What can I accomplish? What haven't I seen yet? What more could I do? Right. And men have that deeply, deeply ingrained in them. Right. And so if we don't have adventure, what happens when we're not challenged? We don't have adventure. It leaves us numb. Right. If we don't have risk and we don't have danger and we lack purpose, we lose our, like, there's no tingle. The nervous system starts shutting down, right? And it's not actually a purpose thing necessarily when it comes to adventure. It's the exploration. It's the dominion of our world. It's the going after something, the new and exciting thing, right? We need something like that in our lives. And it's a healthy expression. There's healthy expressions of that, but there's also unhealthy expressions of it as well, right? And you see people doing it when they're chasing after a relationship or a girl that maybe they shouldn't. Right. Or something gets boring and then they go looking for the new shiny thing because they can't stick with it. Right. Because they haven't planned and intentionally built adventure and exploration and excitement into their life. Right. Men need to go out into the woods. They need to climb a mountain. Right. They need to race a car. Like they got to have those expressions and find healthy expressions for those, or they'll find unhealthy expressions for them. Right.
Oh, so important. Yeah. And, you know, chasing the shiny new thing. And, you know, a lot of times that's girls. That's the female, right?
And like the next section goes well into the female because it's one of the needs and the things of men as well. But it's definitely part of the adventure. We want the chase. Yeah. We want the excitement. We want the new. We want the adventure. We want that feeling we want the butterfly feeling that you experience when you do something new, or you drive the trail for the first time, or you get to the top of the mountain, right? We're looking for that adventure. We're looking for the thing that we haven't done. And if you think about the earth, the creation as God made it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's an explorer's dream. Like there's no end to the beauty and the excitement and the challenge that exists in nature. Right. And so it's a great place for us to connect as men, is to go out into nature and find a way. So going into this, the other part is that we want to be an adventurer. The adventure is part of it, but we don't want to be an adventurer. We want it to be a part of our identity, that we're an explorer, we're a risk taker, we're a man. Yeah. If you know what I mean? Like it's in us. And so
those things are just interesting.
What man is not interested in that? Right.
And it's, you know, doing those things and then talking about them later, you talk about with other men, and other men are just like, man, that's so cool. Mm-hmm. That is so interesting.
They're hunting, they're fishing, they're cooking steaks, they're going out into the wilderness to track down an animal, they're climbing a mountain, and they're tackling a river. And it's partly about overcoming, right? Somewhat like it's a combination of that battle and adventure thing. You're doing them together. You're gonna, like when you go and kayak a wild river or water raft something, you've conquered it. Yeah. Like I did it. I came through. I answered the question.
And that goes back to that question, right?
Right.
Can I do it?
I'm looking for places where I can come through.
Yeah.
And this is one through the course of adventure, right? So again, endurance, Shackleton. Okay, I'm going to break this down a little bit. And so what I wrote down in here, which I loved about this book, is who Sir Ernest Shackleton was. And so it starts talking about him at the beginning of the book. And the description of him is just like, doesn't every man want to be described like this, right? And so it's like, okay, I'm going to break it down. Ernest Shackleton. He was, after all, an explorer in the classic mold, utterly self-reliant, romantic, and just a little bit swashbuckling. Please?
Yeah.
Yes. Whatever his mood, whether it was gray or breezy or dark with rage, he had one prevailing characteristic. He was purposeful. He was 40 years old, of medium height and thick of neck, with broad, heavy shoulders and dark brown hair parted at the center. He had a wide, sensuous, but expressive mouth that could curl into a laugh or tighten into a thin, fixed line with equal facility. His jaw was like iron. His gray blue eyes, like his mouth, could come alight with fun or darken into a steely, frightening gaze. Okay. I'm just like, please, I want to be that guy.
Right? Yeah.
Like, my jaw is not nearly chiseled enough. I am not thick of a neck. Okay.
Yeah. No.
But I want to be.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want to be the man, right? Like the adventurer, the utterly self-reliant, romantic, swashbuckling adventurer. We all want that. Every single man is interested in that. Right. And so I just love the breakdown. And so this story is a story of leadership, and it's a story of adversity and overcoming. Basically, to kind of bring it out, 28 men, wooden ship, most sturdily, strongest built ship ever at the time, 1914. And they sail it down to the Arctic to go to Antarctica. They don't succeed. They get trapped in an ice dam, basically in the middle of it, which crushes their boat. Like literally the ice pushed so hard and it collapsed the boat. So they take the lifeboats and they partage them across busted, broken ice for miles and miles and miles, soaking wet, only no food, no clothes. They're killing penguins and seals and getting attacked by wild animals all over the place. They portage across miles and miles and miles of like a giant ice thing that's like mixed between slush and jagged cliffs of ice. Then they get onto the water, build these boats into a makeshift ship, sail it to a little island that's just basically a piece of rock that's just being battered by the ocean 24/7, 365. Set up shop there, and then 4 of them take the little ship that they made and sail it back to the Horn and then get help. Okay, so the whole course of this 18 months, they were out at sea when they hadn't I don't remember how long he planned, but it was a few months they'd planned to be gone. So literally on the verge of starvation, minus 20 or below the entire time, surrounded by ice, leopard seals, being attacked, all kinds of things. And so 28 men, 0 of them die.
Wow, that's
right?
shocking.
It's shocking. And they all survive. It has all their journals and through all their entries, how they held morale. But basically, it's an amazing story of leadership, resilience, and adventure, right? And it's just, it speaks, that this book spoke to my heart, even though it's like torturously frightening and scary. Just the adventure and the battle and the masculine energy that come with this book and the leadership and the resilience. It's just amazing. And then, like I said, this description of Ernest Shackleton, pictures in there of him and the guys that are on this trip. They're full-blown adventurers, sold out, self-reliant, whatever it takes. Attacking and not quitting or giving up ever, no matter what, even when everything seems lost. And it's like, it's the thing.
Yeah.
And I'll take a moment to point out 0 HR or safety people on the list of 28 men. Just said that to my leadership team. Didn't need HR.
Yeah.
Funny when you're facing adversity and attacking adventure and you're in a fight the whole time. It's not about that.
Yeah.
Right? We need to be focused on the battle. We need to focus on the adventure. We don't have HR issues when we do that because we're all battling together and focused on the mission.
Yeah. And as you were telling that story, you mentioned that it has all their journals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That made me think that I've told men to journal. Have something that you reflect on.
Oh.
Journal. And almost always I get a glazed look back. And the reason why I think that you're getting a glazed look back is because of what am I going to journal?
Well,
your life isn't adventurous enough to actually journal.
I was just reading about this the other day, and I've been trying to journal for, again, more than a decade, semi-unsuccessfully. I've sporadic entries throughout the year, which, again, I'm not happy with myself on it. It's one of those disciplines I really need to get nailed down. But it's true. Like, you feel like, well, what do I have to write about? What's exciting? Like, these guys are literally battling the elements. Also, for reference, journaling well, almost dying, getting battered by the ice and snow and rain, soaking wet, hiding under a rock. And they're writing about the journal. They didn't have much else to do, given, but these guys journaled and to the very detailed specifics on everything that's going on. It's spectacular. I think it was obviously more common back in that time because there was no other way of recording. They weren't snapping smartphone videos the whole time.
But TikTok is my journaling.
Man, do I love this story. Do I love the adventure? Do I love the leadership, the resilience, the battle, it just breathes masculinity. Yeah. Right? Oozes it. Right. And and this is why I couldn't put the book down. I was reading till the middle of the night, following the next problem, the next thing they overcame. And the reason is because my heart was calling to it.
Yeah.
Right. And even thinking about that, it's like, okay, well, where am I missing adventure? Where am I getting into the humdrum of day-to-day business? And consistency is good and rhythm is good and discipline's good, but where's the adventure?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I lose sight of making sure that I'm intentionally chasing adventure in my life, I will become aimless. I will lose my zest. I will lose color, and excitement for life, which isn't what we want. There's a quote here that I had for the beginning of this that I didn't read yet, but the real tragedy of life is in what dies inside a man while he lives. Norman Cousins. And I think this is what we see in, especially North America, in the men that live here now, in myself and in the people we're surrounded by, is that we just all wake up every day and slowly die each and every day. Yeah. We're not fighting the battle. We're not living the adventure. We're not chasing the beauty, which is the next thing. And we just lose our masculinity. Our heart dies inside of us and we never truly live. We never create a story worth writing down in a journal. And we should focus on, we need that. We need it.
Well, yeah. And having that journal, having a story that's worth it, knowing that you're going to journal about your day is going to make you look for adventure a little bit harder.
Yeah. Well, what did I do today that mattered? right? And even then, like, you can use social media somewhat in that respect, right? Like, what do I have that's worth posting today? Right. And that can take a totally wrong expression as well. But it's like, I am trying to live an adventure here on purpose. Right. So let's go find something worth adventuring. My wife and I last night, it was interesting. It's kind of 7:00 at night. It's summer. It's the longest days of the year. It's warm outside. We're sitting in the air conditioning. I'm looking at my book that I might want to read for a bit. We might watch a show. And she kind of went, I could tell we were both kind of unhappy with that. And we're like, what can we do? We got a couple hours. Let's go do something fun. So we went and blew up a couple of tubes and went and found the canal outside our house and walked down the canal, and we rode the canal back down to the house and hung out together and went on a little adventure. And it's a small adventure.
Yeah.
But it was something more than the same old humdrum thing.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that's just living with intentionality. It's choosing to not sit here for the next 2 hours rolling through your reels on your phone, or, nothing wrong with reading a book if you had a long day or whatever. But we went and we chased after a little bit of adventure, and we had a spectacular evening.
Yeah.
Because of it.
And that's honestly, I don't have enough of adventure in my life, but adding something once a week.
Just do something. And as a man, you're leading your family. You need to be the leader of adventure. You need to lead your family into adventure. You need to lead your wife. You need to lead your kids. You need to lead your friends into adventure. You need to be the intention, right? Because they will all follow your lead. And if you lead nowhere, they will go nowhere with you, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So plan the hike, figure out the mountain climb, look at your son and go, what does he need to experience? Like, how do I bring him into the adventure of life and help him to understand that part of him, right? It's so important. It's such a great thing. Again, another great quote that I wrote down here is from my dad, and I've heard him say it many times, and it's so true. He says, I've been up to the edge and I've looked over. And as a man, we need to go to the edge of what we're capable of. We need to push ourselves to the very outer edge. We need to work as hard as we've ever worked until we think we can't go anymore. And we need to look over the edge and then see that there's more there, or that there isn't, and that's the end, right? But I can say with fair amount of certainty that about 98% of men never, ever look over the edge. They've never, ever pushed it to 100% or 110%. They've never collapsed because they've worked so hard. They've never climbed the mountain. They've never tackled the river. They've never put the car to the max speed that it can go and taken the risk. They live in the mediocre humdrum of life, which is the beta killer of the male heart.
Right? Yeah, it just stops them because they're just like, well, I can't.
They're satiated. Yeah, it's all right.
Comfort.
Yeah, they're comfortable.
They're
and there's no comfort in adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't go together. Oil and water, right? Yeah. So you need to throw your comfort out the window, and you need to go chase that adventure as a man.
They take their life and they bring it to the altar of comfort, and they sacrifice it.
And again, as a woman, if you have a man and you're in a relationship with a man, you need to know that he needs that. Sometimes you're not going to understand it, but he needs to go risk. He needs to go adventure. He needs to get out and go for the bike ride with his buddies, or he needs to go on the hike, or he needs to go camping or hunting or whatever. That's part of who he is. Doesn't mean he can abuse the family for it. He should hopefully bring his family into it. But he does need adventure in his life, or he will turn into a blob on a couch watching sports every night, drinking with his buddies at the bar. And you don't want that man. You want the adventure man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, moving on. Again, a beauty to rescue. So the third need is the opposite sex. In my case, I happen to like women. I think most men do.
Me too. Yes.
Yeah. But the reality is that God made women for us, and us for women. And in so lies a desire in our heart to go after them. So the thing is like, can I come through? Right? We want to come through. For who? For our wife, for our kids, but especially for our wife. We want to be somebody's hero. We want to be a hero to someone. We want to be admired. We want to be strong. We want to be, we want to save them from the things that they need saving from. And I know a lot of women, especially maybe towards the feminist side of women, don't like the sound of that. They're like, we're not weak. We don't need saving. That kind of thing. Okay, that's fine. We still want to save you.
Yeah.
We don't actually care if you want to be saved or not. We actually want to do the saving, and we want to be admired for it. And we want to spill out and bring our strength to you and sacrifice it for your sake.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. Right. And so when we're looking for a woman, when a man's dating and out looking, he's chasing her down, he's pursuing her, it's because he wants to expend his strength for the benefit of that woman, to save her or to give her everything that he can give. Almost everything that we conquer as a man, every battle that we fight means so little or almost nothing without.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right. I think about it all the time. If I hadn't married my wife, would I have worked so hard to get this house? Would I have chased after all these opportunities as much? Maybe for the adventure and the battle. But when I came home at the end of the day and laid the spoils of the day on the table, the hunt,
yeah.
If there was no one there to impress or no one there to give it to, what would it have been for? What would the meaning be?
The adoration is part of the goal, is part of
the joke that if there was no women, men would sleep on a mattress on the floor in the garage beside his car is not unrealistic.
It's not.
Right? Like it's not for his sake that he builds the beautiful house, that he provides the beautiful holidays, that he tries to provide and support and give everything that he can, all the opportunities and everything that his wife could possibly desire. It's because he's built for it. Right? He's built to do that. And it's so good. The problem is that we can't take our question to the woman because it's a problem. Because the question is supposed to go to God. Can I come through? And we want to come through, but we're never, ever, ever going to be good enough to come through for our woman every time or to the amount that we want to. Right? And so we're gonna fail. We're sinful men. We're gonna make mistakes, and we're gonna not be there. And not only that, but we can't get the answer to that question and feel like that void inside of us can be filled by the woman.
Right.
In our pursuit of it, we chase and we conquer and we win and we get the woman, and then we find out that she doesn't fill the hole in the heart, and she doesn't answer the question. And this is a huge reason why we have the divorce rates that we have, why we have the womanizers, the cheaters, the pornography addicted men that we have, is because they want their question answered and they want to fill the void with the golden haired woman they talk about in the book. But that doesn't answer the question. That's not the purpose of the relationship with the woman. The purpose is for us to spend our strength in serving the woman and to protect and to provide and to do those things. That's a great thing for us. But when we try to fill that void, it's just a problem. I go into the understanding or the difference between love and infatuation, because I think it's an important thing to think about. And so when we are pursuing, see the woman across the room, she's beautiful. I'm paraphrasing some scenes from the book a little bit here. She seems like she's the golden-haired woman. She's the girl in the red dress. She's the woman of our dreams. So we chase her down. We ask her out. We woo her. We date her. We do all the things. And then we marry her even. And we get a couple of years into that marriage. And then she doesn't quite look the same way as she did before. And the problem is because we weren't in love with her. We were infatuated.
Right.
With her. And so in the early days of marriage, in the early days of dating, in the early relationships for years, often, we are living off the horsepower of an infatuation with the woman that we think that we love. And love happens over time, but love is actually a verb more than it is a feeling, right? And so a man needs to understand that he is to serve the woman. She is not to serve him for his good. That infatuation is serving our love desire, our sexual appetites, those types of things, but it's not love. Love is when we start to serve and expend our strength for her benefit selflessly. It's the action of doing that, and that's what deepens our love. And so we need to shift out of infatuation and into love over the course of that time, and we need to know what the difference is, right? So that we don't think that we fell out of love because we're no longer infatuated, and the golden hair and the red dress all kind of fades away, and we're just left with a woman. Right? And so I think that's really important to understand the difference and the process of going through that, because what happens is we move from infatuation to infatuation. And when men cheat, they get infatuated with something that they see again, even though they're married to the woman that they were previously infatuated with and even have come to love. But this new infatuation confuses them in that they think they love, or that they're out of love, or this is not the same feeling anymore. That feeling's infatuation, and it's not healthy. It's not good, right? And we can stay excited with our wife and infatuated in a matter of speaking, but at the end of the day, that is putting in the work. That is doing the work of expending our strength and our energy and our empathies on the woman that we're chasing. We continue to pursue, right? We don't get lazy with it. So but we need the beauty, right? And this is the problem, I think, in part with feminism as well, is that the feminist doesn't want us to rescue them. They push us away. They don't need a hero. And this is why the male is not turned on by the feminist. He needs to be needed. He wants to be wanted. He wants to be admired. He wants to bring the kill to the table, right, to provide and to be thanked for it, or appreciated at the very least for the effort that he puts in. And when that is rejected, it kills the desire of the man, right? It kills the fire in his eyes. It kills the excitement, and his purpose in that relationship is diminished, right? And this is where we have these very broken relationships that the woman no longer respects the man because the man he's no longer masculine. His masculinity has been killed. Yeah. By the lack of desire and need and want and admiration for who he is as a man. And then they don't understand why they're not attracted to him anymore. Because they killed it. Yeah, exactly. Right? They let his heart die. Yeah. Right? And he let it die too. It's not the woman's fault or the man's fault. It's the reality is, if you take away the heart of the matter, of the thing that makes the man a man, he dies like a lion in a cage when the fire goes out. Right. So anyway, that's the beauty to rescue. Those are the three main things. So that's just book one. I got a whole bunch more here. I think that we're well into our time here. So I think at this point we're going to call it a two-parter.
I think that's a good idea, because there's so much to go through on this.
There's a lot more. I've got a whole nother, a lot more content here to go through, but I think this is probably a good stopping point. So I'll kind of wrap up in that. The thing here that's important to remember is what we started on, which is be a man. What does it mean to be a man? It means to come through. It means to chase after the battle and find the battle that matters to you. Get a mission that means something, that's bigger than you, that's more, and go to work with it. Go to fight for what's right. Fight for what matters. Think about what you really stand for as a man and get in the fight. Right? 2, an adventure to live. We want a story. We want a life that matters, a one worth journaling about. Yeah. Right? And we have to be intentional about that. If we're not going to make that happen as a man, we're going to continue to flounder aimlessly into something that isn't what we want. And lastly, there's a beauty to rescue. And there's a proper expression of that, but we need to know ourselves and know what that means. And again, being a man means coming through. It means expending our strength and serving the people that we love, right? And so in chasing that beauty and pursuing her, we need to find the right beauty, and we need to remember that God is the one that fulfills us, and that we were built to serve that beauty in the way that we were intended to do it. Absolutely. So don't be led astray. Be strong, be courageous, be dangerous. Come through, be a man.